So one of the things that I'm always concerned about has actually happened here. Let me get another light to help show that off. Is that while I was making my Master Blaster videos, I managed to pick up a little bit of dirt that came off the ground or sprayed somewhere, and because of the length and time that I've been spending making these videos, I've got a little bit of some streaking here as well. So I'm going to start off here with the Wet Diamond Waterless wash, and two of the things that I'm going to be really looking at is how slick the surface is, and then also if I'm getting a streak-free finish or not. That's the spray setting. Let's just get our surface nice and wet here. I'm going to be using the Cobra towel here. I like to just glide over the surface the first time over, fold to a new side, and then buff it up to a nice shine. Yeah, so far it doesn't look like we're getting any streaking. Actually looks really good under the light. The only problem that I'm having so far is this spray head does not seem to be working very well, but maybe I just don't have it primed. So far it seems to be leaving a really nice and streak-free shine. Of course my surface here is not terribly dirty to work with. It looks like my sprayer is starting to behave itself a little bit better, so we'll hope that that continues. The surface actually does feel like it's fairly smooth, that it's leaving behind a little bit of a glossy layer. So I'm going to go ahead and keep going around the car and finish just touching up here, and then we'll move on to some of the waxes and sealants. Now one of the things I'm noticing while I'm applying this, I'm going to try and show this, is that it really dries very nice and streak free. So I'm actually going to leave a little extra on the surface here so you can kind of see it. But you see, just as it evaporates there, we're not getting any streaks. So even if I kind of leave a heavy strip of product on here, it's drying really nice and streak free, even though I'm kind of misapplying it here. So this is a very user-friendly product to work with. Now what I've got here, I decided, I was playing with this product a little bit and really trying a few different methods of application, one of which was just really sloppy and just going over the surface really heavily and not going back and buffing it in. And I finally did get a bit of haziness here. You can see in the light right in this area. So I'm just going to go back and buff this up really quick and just gently glide over it. It looks like I'm going to need a new towel. This one is fairly saturated now that I've done the whole car. So I'm just going to touch it up with a brand new, clean microfiber towel. There, and no streaking whatsoever anymore. So it's a fairly user-friendly waterless wash, but I would definitely recommend going back and flipping to a dry side and buffing over, just to make sure you're not getting any streaking, especially on black. But I was fairly reckless in my application to get that streaking. I really had to apply a lot of the product, and that was right at the end when my towel was already saturated. The car gone over, I just took a brand new fresh dry microfiber cloth, went over everything one more time to make sure that it was all done. I've actually really not used much of any product here. My product level is right about to there. See what it looks like here. It's just kind of a off-white, kind of a milky substance. Citrus smell to it, but really mild. You really wouldn't notice. The other thing I'm noticing now that I've got it done is I've got some more gloss here on the paint, and the car is actually looking quite nice as it is, but we're going to keep using products and see how much nicer we can make it look. I'm going to go ahead and do this door as just a new version of the Blackfire Sun, Blackfire Midnight Sun Carnauba here. Really the only identifying marks we have, it's BF 333. I don't have a, I do have a serial number on the side. I don't see the batch numbers anymore, so I'm not sure if that's something they're doing or not. Since I'm going to be testing a lot of products today, I'm just going to use the foam applicator here. And with Blackfire in the past, I found it really doesn't take much at all to get coverage, so I'm going to just barely dab the surface of the jar here and work with my light to kind of make sure I'm getting the coverage that I want. So this door, which is my driver's side rear door, is going to be my Midnight Sun, just the standard Midnight Sun. And what I'm going to do, I don't believe that we'll see any difference between the old version and the new version, but just in case here, I've got some of the old version, which I just picked up and have really liked. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that to the bottom of this door. So this is going to be the Blackfire door, so just flip over to the clean side here. Alright, so we've got our new section on top. Let's check to make sure I didn't get any covered spots that I missed. And since I'm not in my garage today, I don't have all the lighting that I'm normally used to. And we've got the old version. On the bottom here, and I'm flipping sides here to keep the two products straight. So we're just going to go ahead and let that sit for just a second while I get a towel. And this is, again, a wipe on, wipe off, so I'm going to immediately just take one of my really high, nice microfibers, just gently buff this up to a really nice shine here. Really, as far as use and application, not noticing any difference, and I don't think there are any major changes between these two, so that's not a big surprise. Removal is really easy. It's always hard to tell, but I'm really just gliding this towel over the surface not putting any pressure on it. Just letting it glide across. And if I step back, that's looking really nice already. So we've got our upper half and our lower half. Everything's looking good so far. Next we're going to apply the driver's side door here. This is the Wet Diamond All Finish Paint Protection. And our directions here are just to work on a cool panel out of direct sunlight applied by hand and machine. Since I'm applying a lot of products today, I'm just using some of these foam applicators because I don't have a ton of pads just for wax application. I'm just going to apply a dime size amount here, let it haze, and then we'll buff it off. Looks like we've got a cap in here. The smell is fairly mild, especially compared to something like a Wolfgang deep gloss paint sealant. It has a slight petroleum smell, but again, it's so mild that it's really hard to pick up. So just go ahead and lay a heavy swipe here and work out, spread it out. I normally prefer to do all this with a machine, but that's just not going to work for everything today. Now we've got our 50-50 that we're going to do here. I'm going to start off, again, driver's side of the hood. We'll be applying the Wet Diamond All Finish Protection. And on the left side, I'm going to apply the old version. And we'll do a durability test, just kind of see if there are any differences between the two. Finding for applying this that the indirect light is actually working the best for being able to see this product on the surface. Bottle of the old version of Blackfire. This actually compliments of Sea Dog, Corey. Thank you specifically for sending me a bottle of this for comparison purposes. Now if we look at these two, one in my right hand is the old product. This is the new one. I mean, color. And the scent is, again, really so mild that I can't tell. But they appear to be nearly identical, if not completely identical. Now while we wait that for this to cure, we're going to go back and take a quick look at our driver's side door here, see if it's had enough time to cure. Swiping. Now, it's still a little bit wet, so we're going to give it a little bit more time. You can see I touched up an area there that once I moved the light, it's still just a little bit streaky and greasy, so we're not going to go ahead and pull this off yet. We're going to sit and wait and have it cure a little bit longer before we're gonna do that. Go ahead and see if our swipe test is gonna pass this time. It's been, I don't know, probably about 20 minutes. It's coming out a lot cleaner and drier now. And we're actually getting a good swipe, so we're gonna go ahead and remove the sealant here and see how things look. It's really not taking much effort to remove this. I'm putting a little effort into it, but I think that's because I got a little bit thick. Since I was doing a hand application, just running the towel across this dough, it is leaving a very nice, smooth surface. That is looking really nice. I'm gonna go ahead and take my glove off here. Make sure my hand's a little bit dry. Oh, it's definitely a nice surface. You can see my hands are a little bit moist from being in gloves, but there's a nice slick surface in there. Actually, let's use this as a test here. Go ahead and leave a nice, awful handprint. That awful handprint I just put on there. That is looking really nice, and I can tell that this has, of course, been through the rough winter months, and I've not got a perfect surface, and it does look like it's filling in a little bit. So that looks a lot better now that I've got that paint sealant on there. So we're going to keep going. We're going to go back to the hood. Our swipe tests are coming up really clean, just leaving a nice clear track. And this is just really effortless to remove, except for where I got it thick. So just keep it thin. It will be a dream to work with. Now this passenger side panel, I try a product which is new to me. I've used a similar product, a little demo, but this is Crystal Seal, and it's sold in a small bottle, but this one bottle is supposed to cover 5 to 6 vehicles, so its instructions are to use it very sparingly. So we're going to try and be careful, but it is a sealant that's wipe on, walk away, and it's supposed to offer us several months of protection here. So we're going to put this on the rear passenger side of my vehicle here, and we'll kind of watch and see how it does. So get that primed, and I'm going to try and do just kind of a spray here to see if I can get the entire panel. It is a very thin liquid. I can tell already it's very slick. It's got a pretty strong odor to it, even just with that tiny bit. Kind of a chemical, I don't know, sealant, but it's not really petrol. And it's leaving a nice gloss. I like it. I think it's pretty much used up, so I'm going to use one more spray here on the bottom panel. That looks really nice. Actually, that was so easy to apply. I'm going to go ahead and do my driver's side door as well. Alright, I'm still using the Crystal Seal here. Now that I've done a few panels, it's actually starting to make a little bit of sense. What they mean is to be very sparing. If you see here, I've got a little dark spot here. If you're familiar with OptiCoat, it almost looks the same as a high spot. But that's just where I had a little bit too much application on here. And I must say, now that I've done a few panels on the car and my microfiber's gotten a certain level of saturation to it, it's actually a lot easier to apply and see when the product is running out. So once your microfiber has been well primed, this actually becomes pretty easy to see and use. So I might almost recommend, putting a spray or two on your microfiber just to prime it before using it to make it easier to apply. So that's something I'll be trying here. Now, one of the last things I've got to try here today is the Total Eclipse Tire Shine. I'm going to do a couple of different products here just because I've definitely got a couple that are my favorites. So I'm going to put, let me grab my bottles here. I'm going to put a DP Gloss Tire Gel. This is the old labeling, now Detailer's Pro. On the first section here with the rotation, I'm going to put my Dodo Juice Tyromania on the second section here, and this whole outer larger section, and put this new Total Eclipse Tire Shine on. Now the directions on this say that I can go ahead and just spray this directly on the tire. Not something that I normally do, but I'm gonna just go ahead and give it a shot just to see how it applies. And I don't know, that's a little bit too much of a jet for me. I am actually gonna take that, recant that, and find another applicator. So this jet comes out forcefully enough that I'm going to use an applicator to put this on. Has a very fruity, tropical smell to it, whereas the DP Gloss Tire Gel is very minty. This is very fruity. And since I don't really like shiny tires, I'm just going to put one coat on. The directions do state that if you want more shine, you can apply a second coat within 5 minutes there, which again I'm going to choose not to do. So we've got our DP Gloss Tire Gel here compared to our Tyromania, and then we have our Tyromania compared to the Eclipse Tire Gel. You can see the Eclipse is darker, has a little bit more shine than the Tyromania. Tyromania just makes the tires look brand spanking new. And if we look down here, we've got our DP up top, DP Gloss Tire Gel compared to the Eclipse Tire Gel from Blackfire. So the Eclipse is a fair bit darker than the DP as well. So I'll just give you a whole overview here of the tire. I really like the look of all of them.